virtually nobody. It's an amazing thing.
Want to see the effects of devaluing science?
So you think the Earth is actually flat?
I really do. It's my belief.
And who are you voting for this year?
Donald Trump, yay. See it.
Because here it is, in plain view.
They're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous.
And yet, listen to Donald Trump's language he continues to spew about anyone and everyone who may oppose him, with the answer you're about to hear.
What are your thoughts on political rhetoric in the country?
Oh, boy. I think, unfortunately, we're too far divided as Americans in terms of what America means, and I think that's a shame the way we got to this spot. That's what I think.
And what is this shirt? It says SR. What does it say on the back? There are 3 useless things in this world: a dull knife, an unloaded gun, and liberals.
Remarkable irony, isn't it?
People, and I have to say, I'm sure I'll be attacked for saying this, but I really believe it. People are like, oh, well, we had another hurricane, must be global warming. No, it's probably abortion, actually, just being honest. Like, you can't do that. You can't kill children on purpose, knowing that you're doing that in exchange for power or freedom or happiness, or whatever you think you're getting in return. You can't participate in human sacrifice without consequences. You just can't. Sorry. I'm sorry to say that. Trust me, I'm a secular person from La Jolla, California, who was baptized in the Episcopal Church. And if I can see that, if it's obvious to me, then I think it's very obvious to a lot of people.
It's not just Trump, of course. It's the messengers like Tucker Carlson who say stuff like this. Willingly, may I add, because he knows his audience will eat it up.
What do you think happened with the hurricanes that hit North Carolina?
Do you really want to go there? Yeah. I think they want the lithium that's under the houses and the natural resources. What do you think?
What does that mean? Why would that affect the hurricane hit North Carolina? What do you think happened there?
Well, it's a good way to get the movement of the people and to claim the land, because the people are now, they don't have insurances, they don't have their land, and it's a good way to acquire what you want.
So do you think, where do you think the hurricanes came from?
Whoever was in control of them.
Okay, well, wouldn't that just be the natural weather that happened?
I don't believe so.
So what do you think?
That's my opinion.
Well, what do you think? So what do you think happened?
I'd rather not comment.
Because we talked to somebody who said that they believed that the government created the storms.
I would agree with that person.
So you think the government controls the weather?
I don't know if I would say it's the government, but I would say that it's an elite.
On the topic of hurricanes, all of MAGA has an opinion, and none of it points towards climate change. Instead, they rationalize what we know to be true with conspiracy theories, because it better suits their narrative.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the President of the United States, it is my great privilege to be here today to administer the oath of office to Linda McMahon, the next administrator of the Small Business Administration for the United States of America.
My name is Linda McMahon, and I am the chair of the America First Policy Institute. I'm perhaps one of the few people who's been privileged to call Donald Trump a colleague and a boss, but he's also a friend.
Linda McMahon, as in...
The accusations by former employee Janelle Grant against McMahon and another former WWE executive are detailed and explicit. Some so graphic we've chosen not to share them. Among those we can, McMahon began sharing sexually explicit photographs and videos of Ms. Grant, including pornographic content he recorded with other men. And McMahon recruited individuals to have sexual relations with Ms. Grant. A spokesperson for McMahon told U.S. news outlets the lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene made-up instances that never occurred, and a vindictive distortion of the truth. He will vigorously defend himself.
The wife of disgruntled former head of the WWE, Vince McMahon. Linda has been in Trump's cabinet and helped with super PACs to support him once again.
What are your thoughts on the allegations against Vince McMahon?
He's a horrible human being, and I hope he gets what's coming to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Linda McMahon?
if she knew about what was going on with the new allegations, she should go down as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you feel about Donald Trump working with Linda McMahon right now in the campaign?
You know, I didn't know that he's working with her. You know, everybody has due justice, so I guess we'll see what happens when the proceedings. And if she is found guilty, maybe he'll drop her.
Incredibly or not, MAGA world has no idea of her work with the Trump administration.
We want to work with you to really recognize the changing climate and what it means to our forests, and actually work together with that science. That science is going to be key, because if we ignore that science and sort of put our head in the sand and think it's all about vegetation management, we're not going to succeed together protecting Californians.
Okay, it'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
I wish science agreed with you.
Hey, well, I don't think science knows, actually.
I reiterate, these are the people in charge of government, of keeping us safe. And they don't believe in science because it does not benefit their donors. Thus,
I'm about, America, rock the world, and do what's right for people. And that's all I want to do.
Who do you think's president right now?
Well, Obama. I think he's, calling the shots in his earphones, like he said he wanted to do, right? He said it. They say what they want to do, right? And it's true. And then he does it, but the public won't believe it. Hey! Now check it out, all American. Yeah, hey, let's go for it.
And how old do you think the Earth is?
Pardon me?
How old do you think the Earth is?
The Earth is? I think the Earth is flat.
Do you really? Do you really?
I really do. Isn't that what Christopher Columbus said?
Do you really think the Earth is flat, or are you just messing with me?
No, I'm serious.
Why do you think
there's
there's
a marble?
What does that mean? Wouldn't that be round?
That means it's round, but it's a falsity. You think about that hard, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's not. I'm not getting anywhere though.
Really? Okay, it's okay.
Why do you think the
Bible says that?
The Bible says the Earth is flat?
The firmament. Yeah. You know what that is? Yeah. What is that?
The dome.
And it's a glass ceiling. And
his followers follow in lockstep.
I think be careful what you wish for, right? So if we heard a lot about the tariffs that Trump wants to put in place, I think that's one thing that a lot of voters just don't understand how they work. I know that you've been talking about it a whole heck of a lot for months and months. I think one of the problems the Biden administration had very bad surrogates on the economy. We've talked about
you and I have talked about this at length.
Again and again. And, when you just think about it, we had unemployment at really 50-year lows or so. We had inflation coming down from 9% to 2.5% or so in the last 2 years. Interest rates started to come down. I mean, the economy was getting better, and they're handing off a very good economy right now. So if you think about, I get the fairness thing, okay? But at the end of the day, a lot of the policies that they've articulated, big tax cuts for corporations, tariffs and the like, it's really inflationary. So if we see inflation starting to go back up, then the Federal Reserve is going to have to start raising interest rates again. And we're going to be in the exact same situation we were, let's say, 2 years ago.
Remember this, and then listen to a supporter of the president-elect.
Just a huge fan of Trump, man. Want to see a better America. I want lower taxes. I want less tax on my Zins.
You have your Zins there. How much do those cost you?
Right now, where I live, these are $9 a can.
How much should they be?
Like $6-7.
And so you feel that the Biden-Harris administration is basically charging you $2 extra on your Zins?
Yeah, and
you just kind of want to get your buzz going.
I love my buzz.
He's focused on Zins. Zins. Lastly.
Oh, beautiful our heroes proved in liberating man, who more than self their freedom loved. Your beacon shows the way. America, America, you are truly blessed, 'cause we the people rule our land from seat to elected seat. Thank you.
That was very good. Do you want to tell us why you wrote that?
I don't know. I just was looking at America the Beautiful, and I thought on the second verse I could do it better.
Via Desert News, scary scenes took place in East Salt Lake City, Utah, when the Utes took on Brigham Young University, and the game, nicknamed the Holy War, went down. Utah fans were peeved when a late holding call took away a sack on 4th down that would have basically ended the game. Thus it continued. BYU, given new life, drove down the field, got in field goal range, kicked a 44-yarder for the dub. Those in attendance started throwing projectiles onto the field. One of those struck BYU cheer coach Jocelyn Allen.
They're all fans of throwing water bottles. That girl just got hit in the face with a water bottle. I have it on.
Not only scary scenes, but flat out unnecessary. So Allen, the cheer coach, put this on her Instagram story, which we'll read together. At the conclusion of tonight's BYU-Utah game, a Utah fan in the table seats in the south end zone threw a water bottle and hit me directly in the head. I lost consciousness, but thankfully it was lowered to the ground by one of my cheerleaders. Police are going over video footage to identify the seats that it came from. We have a pretty good idea. If you saw the incident or have any info on the family who owns that particular box, please contact me. Thank you. With that being said, we have an update, and it comes from Joe Coles of Desert.com. Joe reports an arrest has been made. It is an 18-year-old named William Gardner. It is a charge of assault, a Class A misdemeanor. Gardner is not a student at the University of Utah. That was emphasized in many news articles. A special shout out goes to Jessica Hallowell, who shot the original video that was obtained by Desert News. Without her help, I really don't know if we find the culprit. Meanwhile, after the game, University of Utah tight end Landon King helped pick up trash. In addition,
this game was absolutely stolen from us. We were excited about being in the Big 12, but tonight I am not. We won this game. Someone else stole it from us. Very disappointed. I will talk to the commissioner. This was not fair to our team. I'm disgusted by the professionalism of the officiating crew tonight. Thank you.
That was Utah Athletic Director Mark Harlan. Now, let's be clear. This does not happen a lot, if at all. Okay? Harlan decided to insert himself into the story, rile up his fan base even more, and play victim. Was it a call that should not have been made? Probably. But to do this and incite the fans in even more hatred and vitriol is quite a tactic, I gotta say. As Sam Farnsworth wrote, I've been in sports journalism for 22 years now in one form or another. I've never seen an athletic director come to the podium after a game, win or lose, and talk to the media. Mark Harlan, the Utah AD, had a message and wanted to make sure the Big 12 heard it. Oh, well, they did. And they decided to take action. For those comments, Harlan was fined $40,000. Pete Thamel of the Four Letter Network wrote the Big 12 is considered stiff. The Big 12 fine, rather, is considered stiff, as the three athletic director fines of note in the past decade were all $25,000. Harlan tried to play cleanup in the aftermath. Last night, following our game against Brigham Young University, I made my clear feelings related to the game officiating. However, I recognize that there are more appropriate times and avenues to express those concerns, and I accept the consequences of my decision. He would also add this: my comments came after having just left our team locker room where our student athletes were hurting and upset. The University of Utah is proud to be a member of the Big 12 Conference. And we look forward to working with our peers to continue to enhance the league. BYU and their coaches, student athletes, having a terrific season. Yes, they are. And we wish them the very best. So Val Hale, the former athletic director at Brigham Young University, spoke with local outlet KSL TV on those comments from Mark Harlan. And Val said, and I quote, "I was really surprised. I was not surprised at all that he got fined and reprimanded." So the commissioner of the Big 12 then released a statement of his own. Mark's comments irresponsibly challenged the professionalism of our officials and the integrity of the Big 12 Conference. There is a right way and a wrong way to voice concerns. Unfortunately, Mark chose the wrong way. Accordingly, this violation warrants a public reprimand and financial penalty. The Big 12 Conference prioritizes professionalism, integrity, and fairness, and will continue to do so. So, look, actions speak louder than words, all right? They saw what he said. They fined him heavily. It's, according to the reporting, the largest fine that an athletic director in the Big 12 Conference has ever received in its history, and it was probably warranted. It was probably warranted. Emotions are running high. You're very upset that your team lost. You feel like there is an injustice. But really, just playing this hardcore victim complex, what it actually does, if he wanted to do this, was take the heat off of Kyle Whittingham, who is the head coach at the University of Utah. I believe they're 1-5 in the Big 12. Not good. They had an opportunity to upset BYU, who is undefeated not only in conference play, leading the Big 12, but also undefeated at this juncture in the 2024 college football season. So it's a double whammy here. And again, if you're trying to take the heat off Whittingham, you did it. But if you wanted negative attention to be thrown onto you and for you to receive the biggest fine in conference history, well, you accomplished it. So kudos to you. BYU, as I said, leads the conference. But for Utah, they still have to face Colorado. Deion Sanders' Colorado, where Travis Hunter, if they continue winning, is probably going to win the Heisman. The Iowa State Cyclones and the University of Central Florida. I do not like their chances at all in any of those matchups.
And she needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in with her sweet husband who probably works his tail off to make sure that she can go, and have a nice life and provides for the family. And then she lies to him saying, oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then she votes for Kamala Harris as her little secret in the voting booth. Kamala Harris and her team believe that there will be millions of women that undermine their husbands and do so in a way that it's not detectable in the polling.
The fact that Charlie Kirk's mind went immediately to the women undermining their husbands to deliberately ignore the framing of the ad that voting is a personal choice you and only you can make tells you all you need to know about how he and his fellow conservatives view women and their autonomy. To them, women must be controlled, subjugated, and told what is right and wrong for them to do because the strong, manly man knows everything and is infallible. A real strong man, by the way, wouldn't let bullying from random people online get to him so much that he couldn't smile with his teeth showing in public anymore or feel like he had to edit out a pair of earplugs from a picture at a college football game after getting trolled on Elon's hate platform. But these are the losers working to set and spread the conservative agenda.
And if I found out Emma was going into the voting booth and pulling the lever for Harris, that's the same thing as having an affair. That, to me, oh my God.
Yeah, you heard that right. Jesse Waters of Fox News just equated his wife secretly voting for Harris to having an affair. If there's one person at Fox News who you didn't want to say this, it's probably Jesse Waters, because we're called this.
When I was trying to get Emma to date me, first thing I did, let the air out of her tires. She couldn't go anywhere. She needed a lift. I said, hey, you need a lift? She hopped right in the car.
Does she know this story?
No, she doesn't know this story.
Does she watch the show? Jesse Jr. does.
You're basically the Zodiac Killer.
It has a happy ending.
Really? Yes, we're married.
boy.
Did you really do that?
Is that the first time you did it, or did you use that before?
It works like a charm.
Oh, okay.
Over 2 years ago, Waters felt comfortable enough to admit that he had slashed the tires on his current wife's car so he could trap her into giving her a ride home, and he would make a move on her from there. Creepy, disturbing, psychotic, and dangerous are all apt descriptions of Waters' admission. But he conveniently forgot to mention that he was married and had 2 children at the time he slashed his current wife's tires, who also conveniently forgot to mention was a producer on a show on Fox News. After Waters' ex-wife filed for divorce after learning of the affair, Waters came clean to Fox execs and transferred his current wife, Emma, to a producer role on Laura Ingram's show because, well, you know, she worked for his. I think we can all agree cheating on your wife and mother your 2 children with your direct underling is far more immoral, hurtful, and damaging than making a personal choice about who you want to vote for. But let's hear Waters and what he has to say just for fun.
Let him finish. Go, Jesse.
That
It's our day,
violates
Judge.
the sanctity of our marriage.
Preach on, yes.
What else is she keeping from me?
Exactly.
What
Why
else
would
has she
have
been
to lie to
lying
you?
about?
Why would she
Roll the
lie
credits.
to you? Have
Jesse
you
has-
threatened her? Why would she lie to you?
Oh, they want me to tease.
Why would she do that and then vote Harris? Why would she say she was voting
He's
Trump
not the problem,
and then
Judge.
voting
Afraid of
Harris?
you.
And I caught her,
So
and then she
you
said,
would-
I lied to you for the last 4 years.
So you admit you intimidate
It's
people.
over, Emma. That would be D-Day.
Well, that didn't make it any better. But what else can you expect out of the party that has shown nothing but hostility toward women and issues they care about, let alone recognizing and affirming their basic humanity and dignity? But the saddest part is that this outdated misogynistic perception of women legitimately convinced some to vote against their own material interests.
So you'd be okay just not being able to vote?
I don't care as long as they get it. As long as somebody takes care of this country. I don't care. I really don't care. As long as this country is right. Do you want to vote for Kamala Harris?
Are you saying you don't? Are you saying you don't mind if your right to vote would be taken away?
I don't care. I know what I want. I know what I want.
But you wouldn't be able to get what you want if you can't vote for it.
I don't care. I've told you 3 times. I don't care.
Will you be voting for Mark Robinson?
Definitely. No doubt. No doubt.
Does any of the stories that have come out about him concern you?
No. Not a bit. Not a bit.
It's hard to describe just how infuriating it is to hear someone admit that they'd be fine with throwing away one of their most fundamental rights when just a little over 100 years ago, that right didn't even exist. Now, what would be really interesting is to see how this MAGA woman would address this voter.
A poll tax is different from 1960. This is when we had to pay poll tax. You had to choose between feeding your family or voting. You only made $2 a week because you didn't have jobs that we have today. So a lot of us didn't vote because that was voter suppression. We decided to feed our family. What do? Vote or feed your family.
And what year was this, ma'am?
1960.
And this is yours?
This is my original.
Wow,
I have the original.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
There's a good reason why those in power still continue to fight tooth and nail to suppress voter turnout and disenfranchise as many voters as possible, and why our fellow Americans tirelessly fought and continue to fight to uphold the right to vote. And it has everything to do with serving the economic and material interests of the ultra-wealthy.